Yo, what's going on guys? Ian77 here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the top 5 global tournament decks in Clash Royale. Alright, so hopping in the first game here, we're going to be using Royal Hogs. So, I did share this deck very recently. It's just a really strong deck right now. I think like 2 out of the top 5 finishers in the previous season were using this deck, and it's just really good. It honestly has like a really good matchup against like the majority of this stuff in the meta. The only kind of more tricky matchup is going to be Mega Knight, but even against Mega Knight you can sometimes beat it if you play really well. So really good deck and pretty high skills sometimes, but honestly not too hard to play. It could be a high skill deck, but it's just so OP that it's not even that high skill right now in this meta. So can definitely pick it up even if you're not like the best Royal Hogs player or anything like that. Alright, so it looks like we're going to be facing Lava here. Could be a little bit interesting, but at least the balloon nerf should definitely help us a bit here, because before the loon nerf it would always like one-shot the Teslas, but now with the loon nerf, I mean not the Teslas, I mean the cannon. So yeah, with the nerf to the balloon, cannon should get a bit more value against the balloon and should be able to stall it for a bit longer, which is pretty good for us. I'm just going to apply some split lane pressure with Hoggies here, because I know he's going to have to use something on that Archer Queen. It looks like he goes in with the guards, but Hog's just going to take like almost his entire tower just like that, just for that early aggressive lava there. And also we have pretty good defense here. The only thing we have to watch out for is that we can't like stack multiple queens, so we'll have to probably get a bit creative here, maybe like stack a couple cannons or something to kill his balloons. And yeah, so just gonna Earthquake here. I don't want to like queen too early. I kind of feel like it's gonna be better to just queen later as opposed to earlier. That way the queen can just lock straight onto the balloon. Alright, he's actually gonna have arrows. Wasn't really expecting that, so he's gonna get a balloon drop on our tower. And we did have to waste the delivery on the balloons, so couldn't have it for his minions, and he might be able to take our tower here. Yeah, especially with that balloon. I don't think we can defend here, but gonna just apply a bit of pressure with the Fire Spirit here, and we should be able to just Earthquake his tower, maybe get like a log off, and that's probably gonna be it. But I'll just split Royal Hogs here just to be safe, and probably didn't even need to do that, but I think it should be fine. And yeah, we're already back to another Queen ability, so we should be pretty good here. And by the way, guys, I just wanted to shout out my Discord server once again. If any of you new guys are interested in joining, it's going to be linked in the description in this video and in pretty much every video, I think. So feel free to join for some extra tips and all that. Just want to make sure that everybody gets in who is interested in that type of stuff. Alright, so we're going to go with the High Queen here. He is running like the Fireball arrows in his deck. I know he doesn't have it right now, but once he has like enough elixir for it, he can always use it on our queen. So good to use it early just to get some value before he manages to spell it down. And this is probably going to be GG here in a bit after we defend this loon push. And yeah, that's going to be it. Pretty easy win here, showing how good this deck is right now. Alright, hopping in the second match here, we're going to be using Miner Tesla with Earthquake. So we don't have wall breakers in this Miner deck, but it's honestly a super strong deck. Last season, one of the top 3 players finished with this deck, and it's just really good, because I feel like it does a pretty good job at countering a lot of the meta decks. Like, it's honestly a pretty good counter to Hog EQ, and I think it can beat Royal Hogs EQ pretty easily as well. Haven't really tested this deck too much, but from what I saw, it seemed quite strong, so... Also a pretty fun deck, so yeah, should be quite good for you guys to use in the global tournament. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, like the best decks for the global tournament really depend on you. Like there's no like specific good best deck for it. It's kind of just like more what you're comfortable with, because it's better to run decks that you're just good with rather than just using the highest or the best meta decks or whatever, because honestly, most of the top 50 in most global tournaments are just people who use their one-trick decks. They're not really always playing the most meta decks or something like that. Alright, and so this guy's gonna have MK here, which is also one of the most popular decks right now. Not really sure how well we'll do here. We don't have like a poison or something to kill his queen. We do have EQ, which could make it a little bit more tricky, but I think we should be fine here. I'm gonna pull the MK really far away from the Tesla, so that way it can actually lock onto the Ram Rider instead of the Mega Knight, which actually worked out super well for us here. Gonna have a pretty flawless defense. Yeah, but it will definitely be trickier later in the game, so we do have to be a little bit careful here. And he's gonna bandit in the back, so we might actually be able to activate our King Tower here in a second. I already showed it quite a lot of times in videos by now, but for any new people, you can easily activate your King Tower against a bandit using those placements. Really helps out a lot, especially against like these MK decks and all that stuff. Alright, so we are just gonna keep having to defend his barrages of MK pushes, so it could be a little bit tricky here, but I'm just gonna set up with an early Tesla. That way we can cycle back to another one as early as possible if he goes in with something. Okay, that was kind of a bad delivery there. I wasn't sure if he'd go with like the lightning on the Tesla or not, so not the greatest delivery here, but I think we should be fine. You know, we're already back to another delivery, and honestly, delivery just gets so much value in these matchups. That's why it's so good in this deck, so we should be able to defend pretty well here, actually, and just gonna wait a second to surround the ghost. That way the King Tower can also hit the ghost, and actually took 0 damage still, so really clean defense here. Alright, so I don't really want to be like too aggressive with anything, just gonna be slowly chipping away with the miners, and maybe get a few EQs off here in a bit, but we have pretty good defense here. We do have to always make sure to cycle our Teslas early so we can get back to another one if he lightnings the first one. Yeah, he's gonna lightning here, but he'd have to spend quite a bit on that, so I don't think he should be able to make too big of a push on us here. Gonna be a little bit sketchy, but yeah, looks like we should have it under control. Yeah. So far you only got lightning damage, so we have really perfect defense here. You always have to make sure you have absolutely perfect defense, because even if you make like one slip up, you could easily lose just from that. So I guess this matchup is actually pretty okay, but it seems like if you make even just like a couple misplays, you could easily lose, so I'm gonna be really careful here. I'm just gonna miner on defense as well. I'm gonna Valkyrie on this Ram Rider, so it is going to get one chip shot here, but I'm not too worried. We defended just about as good as we could, and since he went in with a few aggressive lightnings, I'm just going to go with the EQ on his Archer Queen. Should be pretty helpful here, because now we can pretty much finish it off with like a delivery and maybe like a log or something, so yeah. He is going to lightning, but honestly kind of a useless lightning, because the Tesla was already pretty much dead from the bandit, so probably just need a few more minor EQs, and looks like this guy's actually going to give up already, so yeah, this is a really fun deck, and honestly, if you can play Hog EQ well, you should be able to play this deck pretty well, because they're not actually too different in defense. Alright, hopping in the next match, we're going to be using Mega Knight, and this version is a little bit different than the version we just faced. It does have Inferno Dragon over, I think it was like over Electro Spirit or something, or maybe over Ghost, but I do kind of like this version better because it finished better on ladder last season than, or compared to the other versions, so probably is a pretty good version as well, and I guess Inferno Dragon kind of might just help in a few matchups where the other version struggles, so kind of up to you if you want to have Electro Spirit Ghost or if you want to have Inferno Dragon Barbarian Barrel, kind of just personal preference, but I feel like either of them should be able to work pretty fine for you in the global tournament. Yeah, honestly, global tournaments aren't too hard, guys. Like as long as you just make sure to stay focused, you should be able to do pretty well. It only gets hard like after you're past like maybe 20 wins or so. I feel like before that, it's honestly pretty easy, if you know what you're doing at least. But we'll probably take a bit of practice because sometimes it's easy to choke the global tournaments. But once you kind of get the hang of it, it's honestly not too hard. And I'm just gonna queen right here against this guy. I don't really want to go with the Ram Rider because it would just get wrecked by the Valkyrie and Tesla, so no point in really doing that. He's gonna have guards as well, and unfortunately the Tesla's actually in range of the queen, so kind of a bit of a wasted queen there. But yeah, I'm not too worried, honestly, because in this matchup, it's going to be a lot better in double elixir. And I'm actually just going to let those wall breakers go. No point in really spending like 4 elixir just to defend them, so just going to let it go and Ram Rider in the back. It could be a little bit more sketchy since we don't have like a ghost or something as a secondary drill counter, but I think it's like a pretty good matchup here, so not too worried about anything. And the reason Inferno Dragon is nice is because it can really cause like people like this a lot of problems in these matchups, because he doesn't really have any way to kill the Inferno Dragon. He only has like a few distraction troops, but he can't really kill it too well, so should get us a lot of value here. I think one wall break will connect. They're kind of a bit, I don't know how to put it in words, but our troops are being a little bit weird there, so he's gonna defend that pretty well, but not too worried here still. He's gonna have his Tesla up, but Ram Rider should be able to kill it, and he'll still have to spend something on it, so we should be pretty fine here. Okay, Ram Rider actually does go for the Tesla, but he still spends that drill. I guess he wasn't expecting it to go for that, and really good for us. So we can just MK in the back right now, because he basically wasted that drill, so he doesn't really have anything to go on offense with, so should be pretty good here. And really nice to have the Archer Queen to apply double lane pressure, and we actually were able to get the Bandit on top of the Tesla there, so gonna be pretty hard for him to defend this Ram Rider. He does get another Tesla, but just stacking up a crazy amount of stuff here, and he doesn't really have any reset to that, so that's probably actually gonna be GG. Yeah, that's game. Alright, hopping in the next game here, we're going to be using Hog EQ, and this wouldn't be a proper list without Hog EQ. You guys knew I had to include it. And even though I may be a bit biased because I like Hog EQ, I feel like it's actually really good for the global tournaments. A really consistent deck, and you can honestly beat a lot of hard matchups, so you can't really go wrong with Hog EQ, especially if you're a good cycle player, so definitely had to include it here. And it has been doing pretty well in the last few seasons as well. Yeah, I feel like the reason Hog has been doing pretty well recently just because of how good it is with Queen. Like, I feel like Hog EQ can really abuse the Queen cycle bug ability. I mean, not really a bug, but like it makes it so your cycle is 3 cards when you have a champion down. So that honestly really helps these Hog decks. So I feel like that's why they're in a really good spot right now. And I have gotten like a ton of top 10 global tournament finishes with Hog EQ, so I know it's really good for these global tournaments. And we're actually going to get a king activation here. Looks like we're going to be up against MK once again. Yeah, MK really popular right now. Definitely would recommend using it in the global tournament. I would say MK is really good, especially if you're like a, I don't know, like a bit more of a heavy cost player. Like you don't like cycle decks as much, then definitely MK is the way to go for you. Looks like we're gonna have a really easy defense here, just because of the king tower being so helpful for us, and Queen honestly not gonna be too hard to counter here, because ever since that nerf where it goes slow during its ability, it's a lot easier to counter without like a mini tank or something. Even just like a skeletons plus log it with like a fire spirit or something is usually enough to counter it. So yeah, looking pretty good here. Gonna get another hog hit, and yeah, really good stuff. Alright, looks like he's actually gonna snowball, and he's gonna hit our skeletons there, but we did take a bit of a bandit dash there, but not really too worried. Kind of just also taking away his time to build up a big MK push, so honestly it's kind of actually working out in our favor here. Just gonna need a few more EQs, and that's probably gonna be game in a little bit. And somehow the queen actually locked onto his tower, so now we just need like 2 more EQs, and that's probably gonna be it. So yeah, and Bomb Tower just so good against this MK deck, so that's kind of what carries us in this matchup, along with the king activation. Alright, so he's gonna let the hog get a couple hits there, so just gonna defend here with the high queen. Gonna also force out his queen to go with the early ability, or just not gonna use it at all, and looks like that's gonna be GG here. So yeah, pretty easy win against one of the best decks in the game, so you can see that Hog EQ is pretty good at countering the meta decks in the GTs. Alright, hopping in the final game here, we're gonna be using Giant Graveyard. Definitely a bit more of a troll deck, but I feel like it's like actually super good right now ever since the Giant buff, and I feel like the cards in it are actually pretty good right now. Has really came back into the meta recently, and a lot of the top ladder players last season were using Giant Graveyard, so I know it's a really good deck right now, and seems to do pretty well in most global tournaments as well. There's always at least a few Giant Graveyard players up there, so definitely a deck you could give a try if you're looking for a more easier deck to pick up, I guess. So, yeah. It looks like we're actually going to be up against MK here once again, probably. Could be like, I don't know, P.E.K.K.A still, but it looks like it might be MK here. Gonna see what he uses. Yeah, so he does have a Ram Rider here, so definitely gonna be MK or P.E.K.K.A. Probably gonna be MK though, since MK is a lot more popular in this meta. Alright. So I'm pretty sure Giant Graveyard actually does really well against MK Ram Rider. The reason is just because it's so hard for them to actually stop your graveyards. And they don't really have any good DPS for your Giant either. They only have like an Archer Queen, but honestly it's not really enough most of the time, so you should be doing pretty well against them. And yeah, especially early on, they won't usually have enough to like completely stop your push, so yeah. Just gonna see if he cycles anything, and he actually goes in with the Ghost right as a Giant, so we're just gonna go in with the Giant Graveyard. It may seem like a really dumb play, but it's actually really smart, because I knew he would go with a Ghost right as we went in there, so probably gonna actually take most of his tower here, just like that. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you play Giant Graveyard. Alright, so gonna defend really easily here with the Queen ability. Honestly, you guys can either use Musketeer or Queen. Doesn't really matter too much which one you prefer. Either works, especially with the Musketeer buff. It's actually not too bad in Giant Graveyard either, so yeah. And by the way, guys, one thing I was gonna say is that I will start the channel membership really soon. I'm thinking of releasing it over the weekend probably, so if you guys want to get a few extra perks and stuff like that, definitely feel free to sign up. Might be live like either on Saturday or Sunday. We'll just have to wait and see. Alright, so in this match here, looks like we're already almost going to take his second tower, so even if he manages to take one of our towers, we're probably still going to win here in a bit. Yeah. I feel like we didn't even deserve this win though, because we didn't even play well at all. We were just like spamming Giant Graveyards at the bridge, but I guess that's how this deck works then. Probably just gonna Graveyard here in a sec. I don't think arrows and Snowball will be enough here, so you have to be a little bit careful because we don't have like the most direct damage. But Queen gonna finish off the Ram Rider really well, so probably just need a Graveyard here, and that's probably gonna be it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!